Politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. Illuminati, you've come to take control. You can take my heartbeat, but you can break my soul. Well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Illuminati, you'll never take control. Your new world order will lead to none at all.
Open up your eyes, wake the fuck up, America. Leaking through your lives with fear, just scaring you with terror on your screen, telling you what to believe. But who benefits from panic, hunger, and greed? Yo, that's how they feed upon the masses like a fucking disease. The only answer is to rise up, get up off your fucking knees, snap into your inner being like a 33rd degree. I'm planting mental seeds for men to break free of an evil greed. You can't see, cause you ain't believing me, but I'm telling thee that television ain't true. Just professionally manufacturing a fallacy, imbalancing your talents. We tragically waiting for things to fucking change magically and mystically rewrite our fucking history. This ain't no bullshit mystery. I'm locked to prison with the key. It's in your mind, so wants to see.
Illuminati, you've come to take control. You can take my heartbeat, but you can break my soul.
And they subsidize illness in America. They have to. There's too much money in it.
Illuminati, you'll never take control. Your new world order will lead to none at all.
Man, fuck the internet, it took away your intellect and stripped you of respect. So now this is what you're left with. What's the symptoms of distress? Which prescription is the best? The definition of misdirection. Doctor's orders, get some rest. This hocus pocus diagnosis got you focusing on stress. These politicians ain't no better. Fit the description of the devil. Grab your pistols and get ready, cause they're trying to play Geppetto. Yeah, they're trying to pull the strings, have us jumping through the rings, but they treat us like we're property. We're fucking human beings, man. Things are not the way it seems. Rarely you see the American dream, cause it's more like a nightmare. Fight fair. Yeah, I'll do that when a vote counts. Yeah, I'll do that shit when they don't doubt. Until then, we're all anonymous on a mission, going all out.
Illuminati, you've come to take control. You can take my heartbeat, but you can break my soul.
Salut à vous, bonjour mes chers frères et sœurs, chercheurs de vérité. Aujourd'hui, je vous viens avec une nouvelle vidéo sur l'élite satanique. Une vidéo qui parle de leur projet. Bien que c'est un peu trop tard, mais en fait, il est jamais trop tard, comme a dit Serge Monast. Car tant que l'élite n'a pas réussi au bout de ses projets, alors on peut faire un contre-projet pour l'élite. Et éveiller les consciences est notre devoir. D'ici là, je vous laisse, mes chers amis. Prenez soin de vous et gardez la foi en Dieu, car les temps sont durs.
Of the Illumicorp video training course, I would like to officially welcome you as a member of the team. You've joined our organization at perhaps the most exciting point in our long history. Our founders shared a passionate dream to transform this country and eventually the whole world into one cohesive organization. When Illumicorp finishes gaining centralized control over the resources of the planet, and we will, we can then organize, distribute, and govern for the benefit of all. After competition and dissent are eliminated, we will build a utopia for the people of the world to share based on need and rejoice together. All people are aware of class. To them, society is made up of the rich, the middle, and the poor. The one thing that all three classes don't understand is that the pyramid continues upward. There is a detached hidden capstone made up of an elite board of directors who own and manage IllumiCorp. The three classes below, in essence, become the assets and resources of IllumiCorp. IllumiCorp is divided into various administrative branches, but each branch has the same 5 levels in their hierarchy. You will begin at the bottom, in the initiate category. As such, your role will be to make sure that your orders are carried out through the sub-corporations and institutions controlled by IllumiCorp. You will be placed in plain sight, at the head of a company or institution in the public sector, to carry out the plans delivered from above. Remember, your role is very important. You will be the face of IllumiCorp to the outside world. You are our connection to the masses below. Never speak publicly about your orders or your masters. Now let's look at IllumiCorp's 6 administrative branches and their functions. You will be placed in a top position of power among one of the following sectors. In this way, as you are monitored and guided from above, you will decide strategy and introduce programs that further our goals. For that is the secret to IllumiCorp's success. Control the head, and then you control the body. This is potentially IllumiCorp's most effective instrument for global control. Through international banking, we manipulate the fate of all countries. We have introduced many institutions, such as the IMF and WTO, that work in our favor to impoverish disobedient nations. Always remember, debt is a powerful weapon against countries that don't share IllumiCorp's vision. Perhaps our greatest achievement in banking is the Federal Reserve System. It is a collection of international banks owned by IllumiCorp members and financiers. It was created to form a centralized banking system through the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, an act that was indeed penned by some of our most esteemed members. Many of you might still assume that the government itself prints and issues the currency. That is not the case. When America needs money, they go to our boys and ask for it. The money is printed, but it is only representative of a loan. Interest accrues on that dollar until it is paid back to the Fed. In fact, the federal taxes paid by the American population go almost entirely to paying off this debt. So you see, IllumiCorp derives a healthy amount of its operation funding directly from the debt of the public. Needless to say, this is one of our most crucial sources of funding, and one of our proudest achievements here at IllumiCorp. Through mergers and acquisitions, we have slowly and silently bought up the majority of U.S. industry. IllumiCorp and its members own most of the oil, transport, banking, media, food and communications industries in America and abroad. Through fewer and fewer conglomerates, we are able to effect with great precision the machinations of labor and government. Ultimately, corporations will replace government as a centralized international body that can meet the needs of the public worldwide without the chaos created by national self-interest. When IllumiCorp goes public, corporatism will be the foundation for world government. Conglomerates will merge into one cohesive corporation that is responsible only to IllumiCorp and the needs of its global employment force. IllumiCorp's control of the American military is another impressive tool in our possession. We have nurtured these institutions lavishly to serve as the prototype for our global police force. When ready, our technology and manpower will dominate those who oppose the coming new world order. By utilizing American patriotism, we have fostered in the American soldier the philosophy of peace through superior force. When the time is right, we will migrate that mentality towards the belief in a global government who must protect all people through superior force. We have used the American military-industrial complex to build the arsenal necessary to instigate the final cleansing outlined in IllumiCorp's great plan. Our primary target will be Islamic nations who will never submit to our Western-centric domination. They also hold much of the remaining oil reserve of the planet. Allumacorp must own that precious resource, as it is crucial in maintaining our domination over the countries of the world. Through Allumacorp's enormous federal funding of the military, we can develop new forms of warfare and population reduction. The public can't imagine what we were in the process of developing. Soon, even the weather will be a weapon under our control. We will be able to create droughts, floods, hurricanes, and even tsunamis with no fingerprints attached. The political system of America has been under direct control of Allumacorp for some time. It was actually a relatively easy acquisition, and has been even easier to manage. Politicians know of our unspoken agreement, and will do anything to stay in power. A two-party system benefits Allumacorp, in that it reduces all issues into a black and white debate. Through media, we can play side against side, using each where necessary to support our goals. Due to a diminishing faith in the system among the public, Allumacorp has designed a rogue candidate program to provide a voice for the dispossessed. This disperses the impetus for dissent among those who do not feel represented by our candidates and builds a database of potential dissidents. At the turn of the last century, Allumacorp took a serious interest in public education. Our Supreme Council realized that by creating a private organization to dictate curriculum on a federal level, children could be conditioned to obedience on a mass scale. In the interest of promoting Allumacorp principles in the classroom, hundreds of millions of dollars were invested to create the General Education Board in 1902. The result of doing this is evident today. The doctrines of public education have transformed recent generations into a weaker, more docile mass. Through meticulously planned curriculum, we have control over the process by which the average child learns. Thus, we can mold them into obedient workers who are conditioned to accept the implementation of the Great Plan. In addition, Allumacorp has set up many associations, including the American Historical Association, that determine and uphold the official view of history. Knowledge is power, so we must at all costs be the authors of the truth. By writing history to suit our interests, dissenting voices cannot gain ground, and we can vastly influence culture to achieve our prime objective. Allumacorp uses the media to shape the public's opinion about current events and condition desired attitudes about our future agenda. Through news, entertainment, and advertising, we can program a variety of emotions and responses into the collective unconscious. In the past, we were limited entirely to print media, but now we have multiple mediums to utilize in programming and conditioning the masses. With cable news, we have directed the public to a more entertainment-based consumption of world events, infotainment. This medium is far more effective at subliminal reinforcement of desired attitudes towards our objectives. For instance, we are currently instilling a sense of duty towards environmental issues. With our growing control of the weather through HAARP and chemtrails, we will scare the public into accepting our global protection agendas. We will then phase into the great cleansing which must occur to return the global population to a manageable size. We reinforce the desired norm through advertising, creating a model for people to live up to that is virtually impossible. The result is an incomplete, desperate individual seeking acceptance. Through reality television game shows, we repeat the pattern of individual survival versus group survival. This breaks down the idea of community and breeds individuals who seek only their self-interest. With a public that is constantly suspicious and scheming, we maintain the status quo of a divided population that never thinks to look up. Now that you have a basic understanding of how we work over here at Allumacorp, I would like to introduce you to one of our latest projects, the Control Grid. Since ancient times, it has been the desire of the illumined to wield control of the masses below, both to protect us from them and them from themselves. The tools through the ages have been effective, but always blunt and inaccurate. But now, with the release of new technology to the masses, we have the real ability to implement a control grid with finance, industry, government, and military under our strict control. We can safely shift the population into a new world, monitored and controlled by Illumicorp.
Technology such as the internet, GPS, and RFID chips are pillars of the invisible prison we are erecting around the people. Within the decade, we will have real ID cards that contain criminal records and pertinent information, all linked to federal databases. Cell phones will tell us where each individual is, linked to the same database. Through intelligence agencies and Homeland Security, we will monitor individuals who oppose the Great Plan and remove them from the grid. Quickly, the population will learn that they have a choice: support the system and benefit from its luxuries, or reject it and lose access to the grid.
Well, that was quite an overview. I hope it gave you an understanding of our process and basic overall structure here at Illumicorp. Don't worry if you can't remember specific details at the moment. Once assigned to your administrative branch, you will be shown the second Illumicorp training module. Your initiate supervisor will brief you on your specific duties at that point.
Also, please review your copy of the Great Plan and the attached code word and symbols booklet. You will need to know the ways we communicate internally through public channels.
This concludes part 1 of the Illumicorp video training module. I wish you the best of luck, and may our plan complete in secrecy. The dawn of a new era is on the horizon.
Voilà, voici une aperçu sur leur projet satanique. Et pour contrecarrer leur plan, pour moi, il faut se remettre à Dieu. Remettons-nous à Dieu. Prions Dieu. Que le Saint-Esprit descend sur nous et nous guide. Que Dieu nous protège de ces satanistes. Sinon, n'oubliez pas d'éveiller les consciences dès que vous pouvez. Évitez de vous faire vacciner. Évitez de vous faire tromper par cette élite satanique. N'entrez pas dans leur jeu. Ne vous laissez pas duper par leur discours politiques qui n'aboutissent à rien, seulement à duper le public. Et essayons de faire grandir notre foi en Dieu. Prions Dieu. Prions Dieu. Et attachons-nous à lui. Et ne vous attachez pas aux choses d'ici-bas. Car ils sont destinés à disparaître. Ne vous attachez pas aux choses charnelles, mais essayez de vous élever spirituellement. Attachez-vous aux choses spirituelles. Attachez-vous à l'éternel. Attachez-vous à celui qui sauve les âmes, à celui qui vous a créé, à celui qui peut vous guérir, à celui qui peut nous amener à la délivrance totale de tout mal. Comme dit le Christ, là où est ton cœur, là aussi sera ton trésor. Essayons d'être spirituels et de ne pas être charnels, car tout ce qui lie au charnel est voué à disparaître. et tout ce qui est spirituel est éternel. D'ici là, je vous laisse, mes chers hommes, mes chers frères et sœurs. Que Dieu vous bénisse, que Dieu vous sanctifie, que Dieu vous protège. Amen.